Thank you, Floyd Mori. Thank you for your dedication in safeguarding and improving the lives of others in a career of public service as the mayor of a city, as a state lawmaker, as an appointee to state boards and commissions, and as a dedicated volunteer and a tireless member of the staff for the Japanese American Citizens League. Floyd Mori was first introduced to the JACL by his older siblings during his childhood. From that introduction to JACL in his formative years, he has served in leadership roles at every level of the JACL, as president of the Mount Olympus chapter, as a member of the board of directors of the JACL Credit Union, as the JACL Vice President for Public Affairs, and as the JACL National President. All of this was intertwined with a career in public service as a city councilman and mayor in Pleasanton, California. In 1975, Floyd was elected to the California State Assembly and served for 6 years. In the Assembly, Floyd authored groundbreaking legislation on spousal rape, equality in women's college sports, and the creation of the Office of International Trade. This period of public life was followed by a successful career in the private sector. From there, in 2005, Floyd was selected to serve as a member of the JACL staff as the Director of Public Policy in Washington, D.C. It was in this role, and in the years that followed as the CEO and National Executive Director of the JACL, that Floyd raised the profile of the JACL in Washington to a level not seen since the years the JACL was served by a fellow Utahn named Mike Masaoka. As the JACL National Director, Floyd recognized the need for the organization to begin attracting young people and others who expressed an interest in pursuing the historic civil rights mission of the JACL. He hired young staff members and encouraged young people to take active roles as interns and fellows. He gave his staff great latitude for creativity and self-direction, and attracted corporate funding to establish youth leadership programs such as Project Community and the Collegiate Washington, D.C. Leadership Conference that have found a permanent place as national JACL programs. Floyd saw the struggles of the Vietnamese community in the Gulf Coast with Katrina and the BP oil spill, and joined forces with them in advocacy efforts that have led to the formation of a JACL Gulf Coast chapter. Floyd's work in the Gulf Coast has provided inspiration to the JACL National Youth Council, who recently worked on a service project in the Gulf, planting marsh grass to help restore and protect the bayou wetlands. In response to the devastating earthquake and tsunami in Japan, Floyd forged a partnership with Direct Relief International, an amazing relief organization. Floyd has traveled to Japan and connected Direct Relief International with the JACL Japan chapter to identify grassroots groups in Japan for monetary grants to carry out their relief and recovery efforts, such as going door to door in the danger zone in Fukushima to deliver food to the elderly. Floyd has maintained ties with important organizational partners, and he has forged new ones. Since September 11, 2001, the JACL has been an outspoken advocate against intolerance directed at the Muslim and Arab American communities. Whether it's for restoring the right of habeas corpus for Guantanamo Bay detainees, or speaking against Representative Peter King's hearing on the extent of radicalization in the American Muslim community, or support for the rights of Muslims to build an Islamic community center and mosque near the site of the World Trade Center in New York, Floyd always placed the JACL in a position of protecting civil liberties and denouncing intolerance. The same is true of the many occasions where he spoke out against anti-Asian sentiment, defamation, and hate crimes directed at Asian Americans. He formed a strong relationship with the Anti-Defamation League in Washington, D.C., and provided support in the effort led by the ADL to gain passage of legislation to strengthen hate crimes legislation. Floyd understood the maxim that when you tolerate insult, you invite injury by aggressively responding to incidents of defamation, whether from a car dealership in North Carolina that used racist stereotypes to promote sales, to confronting Paramount Studios for their casual use of a racial slur in a scene resulting in an attack on an Asian character in the movie The Goods. Live hard, sell hard. As a young child with only fleeting memories of the war years living near Salt Lake City, Floyd recalled that relatives from California came to live with his family during that time. He later came to clearly understand the impact the incarceration had on our community, causing his support and advocacy for lasting legacies, such as the Japanese American Confinement Sites Grant Program, and the campaign that will soon realize a deserved recognition honoring the Japanese American veterans with a Congressional Gold Medal. Thank you, Floyd, and thank you to your strongest supporter, your wife Irene. We wish you and Irene the best in your retirement.